Something guys, welcome to the Rash Child channel. I'm Ash and today I'll be showing you how I program my MIDI pedals with the Boss ES-5. So if you've seen my previous video showing the signal chain of how I use my pedals, my amp and the ES-5, all being programmed by MIDI, so I'm going to show you exactly how I program them. Now, I'm going to use the actual unit of the ES-5 and not the software. The Boss series does come with a software which is called the editor, Boss ES-5 ES8 editor, which is fantastic. Everything I'm about to show you in this video can be done through the editor in a much more efficient way, so it's much recommended to do that. But I thought it'd be better to show you using the actual unit, so if you start there and you don't have a computer to use it with, you can still do it. Now the camera is going to be mostly on the ES-5, and if I'm changing the effect on the pedal, I'm sure it's very obvious to see. On my expression pedal, I'm just putting my foot up and down on it, so don't worry if you can't see it. Same as the whammy and the pedals too. This is just how I use it for my band and my songs live. There's a lot more things you can do with it. You can dive into more settings, and if you are going to do that, I recommend going to the Facebook group, Boss ES-5 ES8, and checking out all the information there, and they'll help you out with anything you have to do. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's have a little example of how the MIDI works and how I've set it up. So we can see here that all my MIDI pedals all have a channel, and it depends on which pedal you have. Your setup is probably very different to mine, but it all works in the same way. Each pedal has to be set to a channel. So look into the manual of each pedal you have that is MIDI enabled, check out how to choose the channel, and make sure that each pedal is on a different channel. For me, we can see here that my amp is on channel 1, and I can change between the 3 channels on there using the MIDI. So guys, also today I'm going to show you how to do this using just the unit itself. There is a software that comes with it called the Boss ES-5 ES8 editor, which makes this much easier. But if you can understand exactly how to do it on the unit, when you switch to the actual software, it's much easier. You can, copy and paste banks and things like that, much easier. But I'm going to show you how to do it on the unit. Now, today I'm going to use one of my band songs. The song is called The Love That's Left in Me, and it uses quite a lot of my, MIDI pedals, including the whammy, and I'll show you all those individually in a sec. The amp is already on the clean channel, so we can hear it right now. Okay, but if I wanted to change that to the rhythm channel, what I would do is press the edit button, then patch, and we're going to scroll over to MIDI 1. So I've set it up, so on MIDI 1 is my amp, so let's look. So we can see it says channel, that's channel 1, which I've already set, and it's on PC1. The other things right now you don't really need to worry about in this case. So if I change it to 2, and then write that, now it's the rhythm channel. Let's try 3. And let's go back to the original channel. Now I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you already either have an ES-5 or are looking into it, and you probably understand the basics, right? So let's go through the other pedals. Now my amp is on channel 1, MIDI channel 1. My delay pedal is on MIDI channel 2. The reverb pedal is on MIDI channel 3. My whammy is on channel 4, and the SY200 is on channel 5. So in this patch, actually I'm using the Whammy DT has a drop function because this particular song I needed to tune down to 1 step, and instead of having to do it physically, I can just use the software. I can use the ES-5 to do that. So this is the sound. Okay, so let's have a look at what I'm utilizing in terms of MIDI. So if you go to the MIDI section on the patch, so we can see that channel 1 is the amp, and that is going to the clean channel, which is preset change 1. On MIDI 2, we have channel 2, and channel 2, if you remember, is the delay, and it's on preset 9. Now, see, I can just change that. So this is how it sounds right now. Now let's just choose like a random preset. And right. Here's a totally different sound. And then let's go back to the original one. There we go, and we're back. Now, MIDI 3, we can see that MIDI 3 is channel 3, and we're not actually using a preset change here. We're using a CC. Now, the reason why I'm using a CC for this is because on this particular pedal, which is the Ventress, now it's outside of the loop, which means that it's always in my FX loop, but I don't always need to use it in the front. I always use it in the FX loop, so it doesn't need to be in any loop. It's just in my FX loop chain, and I turn it on and off via MIDI. And each one of your pedals is different, but this is how I do it. In this particular case, 104 means to turn on, and then the value is the preset that you want. So I can change one right here. Let's choose a random one. I'll see it's a more longer delay. You know, these are all presets that I've personally made. I'm sure you don't need to know all this stuff, you know, but this is how it is. Now for MIDI 4, which is on channel 4, which happens to be my Whammy DT, we can see that it is on preset 57. And preset 57, in terms of this, let's have a look if I change it here. Let's change to 56, for example. You see that's the actual drop tuning part, which has gone down another octave, which we don't need to do. Back to 57. And if I physically turn off the pedal, you can hear the difference. And on. See, it's just dropping it down a little bit. All right, and that's it. And I think the number 5 is not on. No, sorry. For channel 4, I see now the Whammy DT has 2 functions. On the left side is like a traditional whammy. On the right side is the drop effect. So you can actually do 2 different sets of MIDI settings. So here I'm having the channel 2, which is for the whammy part. So sounds like this. Just that. Because sometimes, you know, you maybe want to do a different whammy setting, you can control it via MIDI. Fantastic. So let's look at my patch 2, which is the chorus. And, you know, totally different, right? It's going from a heavy sound. So I think it's very self-explanatory, right? You just have to change to the one that you want to do, and each MIDI channel. So just make sure that you have all your MIDI pedals on different channels. Then simply in the patch, you just choose the MIDI channel that you want. Now, as I said before, the editor is much better for you. So make sure you read the manual of each of your pedals. And there's one element which is very cool, which I think, now this is the ES-5 guys, which only has one input for expression pedals. Now you do this with assigns. Now, for example, let's say I want to use my delay from the, let's go to my third patch here. So this is like a kind of a breaky, slow delay. Okay, all right, so you can see that this delay is much different to this one. Okay, now usually with an expression pedal, you plug it into the pedal that you have and you control the parameters via that. But one of the best things about using the ES-5 is that you can plug the expression pedal, which I have here, directly into the ES-5. And through MIDI, you can control the parameters. Now, for example, let's look at the Future Factory in the manual. Let's go to the manual here. So let's just do something that's quite simple to hear, which would be the delay time, all right? So let's just go to, you can see here it says delay time, and then here it says MIDI C numbers. Now, this particular delay has A and a B delay. Let's just simply do the A delay, all right? So we can see that it's MIDI CC, right? So, all right, so let's go to, first off, let's find that first, which is in assigns. So before we're in patch, now we're going to control expression. And we can press assign 1. So first off, switch it on. The next part you want to change to expression. Now for this part, change it to MIDI. Now, because we want to target the delay, we should choose the delay channel, which happens to be number 2. Now the CC, now if we look back at what it says, 45 is delay A. So let's try that. Now on the right here, we can also see the parameter, the value range, right? Which is 0 to 127, which would be, you know, from the beginning to the end. You can fine tune this when you've figured out how to do it, but it depends on, you know, what you exactly want to do. Do you want to just make it faster or slower, whatever. So let's just go full pelt and 0 to 127, and let's save that. Okay, now when I touch my expression pedal, it's going to go to this. So let me just do it at 60. Okay, that was an extreme example, but you can understand what I'm trying to do, right? And there we go. That's how you do it, basically. Now you can see that I press a lot of buttons, right? So if you plug into the app through your computer, the best way to do that is with the Roland RM1. If you just plug that into the input and the output of the ES-5 or ES-8, it becomes much easier to do that. Plenty of videos on how to use the editor, but I'm just showing you how to do it on the actual unit. And, you know, so just for fun, let's try another pedal, shall we? Just to make things a bit easier. Let's try the reverb. Now, for example, just to make things simple, let's look at right here. We can see that mix A, which is on CC number 3. So let's try that. Let's just use assign 2 for this one. Same as before. So we want to go to channel 3. And also channel 3. And let's just do that to maximum as well, minimum, maximum. And let's try. So here, the foot is all the way down, there's no reverb. So hopefully you get the idea. This is just a demonstration of how to do it. You can figure out how to do all the details that you want to do for your songs. And if you do need any more help, I do suggest going back to the Facebook group for ES-5 and ES-8 to figure it out. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. So just to demonstrate everything I've just said, I'm going to play through one of my band songs, which is called The Love That's Left in Me. My band's name is Never Tell. And I'm just going to play through this song as though I would be doing it live. And the camera's just going to be showing you, where I put my feet. There's only a few changes in this, so it's not that complicated, but hopefully you can see what I'm doing and you can apply it to your rig. So here we are.
Was it ever enough for you? Take it all away. When you're lost out in the dark, I'll need a light to guide the way. And you can fix your broken heart with all the love that's left in me. Can you feed it? Can you feed it in your bones? Can you feed it? Can you feed it in your bones? Can you feed it? All the love that's left in me. Well, that was never enough, never enough, no.
And that's it. So if your pedal does have a MIDI, just make sure that you double check the manual, find out the CC settings and the MIDI settings, go through them. Once you've got those, it's very simple to program. Just go to each MIDI channel and you can change the parameters with an expression pedal using the assigns. It's not that hard, but if you do have any more questions, just ask me and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Yeah, and there we go. So catch you next time. Bye.